Hello, everybody, and welcome back to an extra special episode of the Big Hitters FPL podcast. As you can see, we have reached the big 100 subscribers, 3 digits, so we have a right to celebrate that today, and we will celebrate it. I've got a Game Week 30 preview podcast coming up for you. The deadline for Game Week 30 coming next Saturday, so we'll have a deadline stream for you then. Make sure you subscribe to our channel on YouTube, The Big Hitters, so we can get to 200 subscribers now. And we're also on Instagram and Twitter at Big Hitters FPL. So in celebration of our achievement of 100 subscribers, we have got a beautiful new
blue
logo, as you can see in our backgrounds, and we also have a beautiful new
blue
PowerPoint. So thanks, Mr. Johnson, for the wise words. Another thing is that we have our own Fantasy Premier League, which you can join. The code is 01TOQK. So you can join the competition, us three in it as well. You can try and beat us. I assume a lot of people beat us this week with the week we had. So I guess without further ado, let's take a look at the horror show that was Game Week 29. First up is Jake.
38 points, not too bad, I guess, seeing as the average was 25. So I guess that'll be all the managers that don't bother to look at their team for the whole season, bringing the average down. So yeah, I guess I'm not too sad about that, but yeah. As you can see, both Fernandez and Diaz obviously didn't have a fixture, but then Cresswell, Target, and Bale. I think Bale didn't play at all, and then Cresswell and Target, I think, both conceded 2 goals and both got a yellow card. So they both ended up. They all ended up getting 0 points for me, which obviously isn't great when the 3 of your players in a blank game week. But yeah, my captain, probably not that it matters too much, an extra 2 points it would have been. But yeah, captain was decent. I went with Kane in the end over Rafinha. Kane got 7 points, Rafinha got 8 points. So yeah, not the end of the world. And then Bamford did really well. So goal and assist and 3 bonus. So yeah, and Watkins blank, Dallas blank, and Martinez blank, which obviously is kind of betting against myself there with captaining a Spurs player against Aston Villa. But yeah, unfortunate that Leeds conceded.
So a week to forget.
Yeah.
All right then, Ludo, just slightly better.
I was quite satisfied with my week, to be honest. Above average. Captain Kane, just like Jake and Noah, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I had quite a few players playing, so I was expecting an okay score. Doubled up on Arsenal, didn't really pay off. When you get told Arsenal scored 3 goals, you'd expect Aubameyang to be among the goals. Unfortunately not. Target blanks. That's very annoying. Obviously Rudiger didn't play. Went for the safe option, captain to Kane, paid off. Bamford, good week for him. But green arrow. So I'm satisfied. Souček scores again when nobody has him.
And an own goal.
The own goal, to be honest. That was quite a debatable topic if it was an own goal or not. But yeah, I'm quite proud with the week. And I think I did the best among the 3. Did I?
No, I did one better than you.
Okay.
44 for me this week. Again, similar problems to Jake. Again, I had Cresswell and Target both got 0 for me. Fernandez and Salah didn't play at all. Captain Kane, like the rest of us did, scored a sneaky penalty, so we'll take that. Only Rafinha and Bamford did better in my team, and it was them that actually brought the score up the most, with Bamford doing very well, Rafinha scoring as well. And yeah, so the best out of the three of us, way above average. Unfortunately, though, it's still a very, very small red arrow because I took a 4 hit with that. So a tiny little red arrow, which is, I like to call that a grey arrow, I guess. Not really a red arrow, but so no, I'm happy that it's over now, you know.
Is Red Hour in the Big Hitters League, or not overall?
Overall, I got a red arrow, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, small one though. And yeah, so I'm just willing to forget this week and just move on. But as blank games go, not too bad. So I'll take that every day of the week. Right. We are in the midst of a international break, as boring as can be. No football on pretty much any of the time, although England are playing this afternoon, which is nice. So I think now that 29's over, we're sort of like focusing on how to build till the end of the season, and a lot of dramatic fixture swings before then. So we'll split it in two halves. So which teams would you be looking at for, say, 30 to 34? Which fixtures?
Well, I think Wolves have a nice run of fixtures. I think on the fixture difficulty rating, they're all green fixtures. But then again, I'm not so sure they're the best players to be bringing in because obviously they've not been in great form. I think they're in the bottom half of the table. They're not scoring and they're conceding. But I mean, obviously, Pedro Neto is probably the one player you would bring in from Wolves for those fixtures. So he could be a differential over the next few weeks.
Yeah, I'd actually go for Chelsea assets because they've got some good fixtures in the short term. So I think Chelsea have got West Brom, Crystal Palace, West Ham, and Fulham in their next few games. So obviously, I'm not sure. I think that from a defensive aspect, you know, that looks 3 or 4 clean sheets in a row. So that would be great. From a offensive aspect, not sure, it would be a bit risky because Chelsea aren't the greatest at going forward at this moment in time. But and I think we can look at Rudiger, who's quite cheap, 4.6. I mean, for a Chelsea defender, quite cheap. There's Christensen as well, along with a very safe and reliable option, the captain, Cesar Azpilicueta.
Dave.
Always seems to start every game. I hope I don't get cursed now that I've said it. But yeah, so obviously that's in the short term. But in the long term, I think Tottenham have some good fixtures. You know, they haven't got too many reds, so they've got 2 reds. They've still got a match to be confirmed, so that might be slotted in perhaps a sneaky little double game week or something like that. Some grey fixtures, but they include Leeds, Newcastle. So they're not in the greatest of form, but you know, if you want to bring in someone till the rest of the season, then Son and Kane seem like, or Bale seem like the real deal.
And then for the second half, so 35 to 38, I would certainly point out Liverpool. I know they're probably not in the greatest form right now, but they're one of those teams that might still have something to play for. So you're looking at these fixtures from 35 to 38. Southampton at home, West Brom away, Burnley away, and Palace at home. So I think maybe even a midfield double up, Salah and Jota. You probably get a defender in there as well. So I take a look at them for 35 to 38. as well
Yeah.
as probably who else?
Leeds, probably,
Leeds, yeah.
in the last couple of weeks. I think they've got Spurs, Burnley, Southampton, and West Brom in the last 4 weeks. So obviously there should be plenty of goals there, especially with 2 very good fixtures with Burnley and West Brom.
And West Ham as well, 36, 37, 38. They've got Brighton, West Brom, and Southampton. So a lot of actually good fixtures in the last 3 weeks, I'd say. I think next week it'd probably be quite a cool thing if we got a wild card and we did that in front of the viewers on the show. So I know a lot of people are doing their wild cards 31 to set themselves up for the rest of the season. So we can have some fun playing around with that. But I think we should talk now about something weird which is going on with Gameweek 32 and 33. So Gameweek 33, we've got some confirmed blanks. We've got City, Tottenham, Fulham, and Southampton all not playing because City play Tottenham in the Carabao Cup final. And then Game 32, at the moment, there are 4 blanks in that as well. But I think they're going to be put back. And I think we should have a double Game Week 32 as well. So just on Game Week 33, I think that brings us nicely on to Man City as a team. What are you going to try and maybe get rid of 1 or 2 City players before Game Week 33?
I mean, I've already gone down to 2 City assets in getting rid of Stones and having Gundogan and Diaz. And Gundogan obviously hasn't been in the greatest of forms at the moment. I think it's 3.2 or something, which is relatively low compared to obviously a couple of weeks ago. But obviously, no one really wants to get rid of him because you know what he can do. So I'd be wanting to hold Gundogan probably into the end of the season. Diaz, the same. Obviously, City still do have a very good defence, and he's the most likely to start every game. So I think I'd be keeping those 2. But I've also got 2 Spurs assets in Kane and Bale, and I think for Game Week 33 I might move Bale on. I mean, he didn't start last week, and depending over the next couple of weeks, it might be a good idea. I mean, I've got the money at the moment to go. I could go Bale to either KDB, well, not for that week, obviously, but Aubameyang, or even back to Salah. So I could get any of those 3 in for Bale for that week.
Yeah, I'm following the same path as Jake, actually. So I've actually gone down to 2 City players. And I think, so I've got Diaz and Kevin De Bruyne. The problem is that, Man City have essentially won the Premier League. And so it seems as if Pep is prioritising the Champions League. So that means, resting KDB in the Premier League. So that's something to look at. With Gundogan, he's in decent form lately. Talking about form, Jake was saying that he's not in the greatest of forms. He's actually scored for Germany. He scored a couple of nights ago, along with a banging goal scored by Kai Havertz. But yeah, so that's something we need to think about, especially with some blanks looming with City. City will also be playing Chelsea in the cup. So yeah. So I've gone down to 2 City players.
Yeah, I think 3 at the moment is too many with rotation, and I think Ludo's right to point out that there are other priorities for City, and I would not be surprised to see Gundogan get a few rests before the end of the season. And so in the more immediate term, this week, City have got Leicester away. Are you going to be benching any of your City players against Leicester?
Well, I guess we'll be having a look at the team shortly, but I think I'll be benching both my City assets.
Same with me.
Because I think there's a lot of nice fixtures this week. A lot nicer than Leicester. So I've not decided on it that I'm going to bench both of them, but it's looking pretty likely.
Yeah, I was thinking about. So I've got Diaz and Kevin De Bruyne at the moment. Without any transfers, they are both on the pitch. But obviously, I've got 2 free transfers, meaning that perhaps I could upgrade other players that could potentially not replace them but bench them. So I mean, Kevin De Bruyne, it can be a bit of a risk because Kevin De Bruyne is Kevin De Bruyne. So, he can just show up in big games as well, no problem. As well as Diaz, he can score, he can keep clean sheets, and, Man City at the minute seem close to unstoppable. So that is something to think about. So obviously you could play someone like Dallas, but if Diaz gets that clean sheet and he's on your bench, and Dallas might not even keep a clean sheet, so that's a bit of something to ponder about. So I'm still thinking about it.
Right, well, for me, I am planning on benching both if I bring in Rudiger. But yeah, it's a tough one because on paper you'd want to bench them, but they're Man City, so they could just end up thrashing Leicester 5-0. It's a hard one to judge. Next, I think we should talk about a goalkeeper who has been a bit of an FPL legend this year, who basically has literally never left the PowerPoints when we're compiling the perfect 11 that we do every week. Obviously, I'm talking about Martinez here. Many wildcarders looking to wildcard him out with a tough fixture schedule coming up. Do you think we should sell the great FPL legend, Martinez?
I mean, it's one. Obviously, like you said, he does have a lot of tough fixtures coming up. But I think after City and Liverpool and then City, he's got West Brom, and then it's still not a great run until the end of the season. So it might be a good idea to transfer him out. Obviously, like we said, there's a lot of. I think I've brought in Leno this week, obviously not to play against Liverpool, but he has a nice run of fixtures. He's got Sheffield United and Fulham in 31-32, and then he's got Everton, Newcastle, West Brom. So a nice few fixtures there. So he could be a decent option.
And I think Edouard Mendy as well of Chelsea. I think people are looking to bring him in as well. So interesting the one there.
West Brom the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, both keepers are in good form at the minute. Edouard Mendy as well. And I think with Martinez, it could be a bit of a risk selling him because even if he doesn't keep a clean sheet, he does still get some save points, and which other keepers this season haven't really done too much when they've blanked. So I think you shouldn't really dump a legend like that after what he's done to you. So I'd think twice personally.
Interesting. Right. So I've got a comparison corner for this week, and it's an interesting one. It was a double transfer I was thinking of making, which is Salah down to Jota and Gundogan up to De Bruyne. I've managed to talk myself out of it, but the comparison corner I've got here is Diogo Jota against Liverpool teammate Mo Salah. So look at the stats. So this is last 6 matches. The stats are per 90 minutes. And Jota is out-statting Salah. What do you guys think about
Yeah, I mean, obviously Salah is about just under double the price of Jota. But I think Jota. I mean, you said you're not thinking of doing the double up, but I think, I mean, obviously if you've got someone to transfer out, Jota and Salah at the double. I mean, they've got, like we've said, decent fixture run till the end of the season. So I think a double up would be a good option. But if I had to choose one, I mean, I've took Salah up 29 in last game week for Bale, who obviously didn't play. But now I think I'm thinking of bringing Jota in. I think he's obviously for his price point, he's returning more than Salah. I think he's the better option.
Interesting.
Again,
Ludo?
I'd say it's risky. Salah. He could blank 7 times in a row, but then go and get a hat trick in a big game. So that's something to look at. And as well, I also have this theory that Klopp, at this minute, has the pressure to play both Salah and Mane on the pitch, because obviously I think those 2 Liverpool stars aren't so happy at the minute. They're world class players, and at the minute they're in seventh position. Not sure.
6th, maybe. Yeah. 8th. I don't really know.
I think that both Salah and Mane will be hungry, will want to play, and I thought, against Chelsea when Salah played, he seemed very dangerous. He seemed like the biggest threat to Chelsea on the pitch. He then got subbed off, and you could see his frustration. So that's something Klopp has got to manage, and that could prevent Jota from getting game time. Having said that, there's still the Champions League to play.
It's an interesting one. If I had to choose between the two, I'd probably still stick with Salah personally. Like, I know price is quite an important factor in that, but I'll put it this way: I'm not going to make any active decision to sell Salah for Jota. I think Salah's got penalties for him. I think last couple of games, although he hasn't scored, I think his XG has been decently high. I think he's had the chances, which is positive to see. And I think Liverpool are one of those teams that still have something to play for. I'm going to come on to motivation very soon, but I think so. I'd say you definitely should have one of them for the rest of the season, but I'd still just about be inclined to go Salah. Also, he's got the golden boot. He's joint top with Salah on goals, and I'm pretty sure he'd want to win that. So I'm going to be sticking to Salah. So with motivation, we're into the last 9 game weeks of the season, and soon, game week 34, 35, things are going to get done. City are probably going to win the league soon. Sheffield United and West Brom probably go down soon, and so you don't really want to keep the players that have got nothing to play for, because Man City, for example, if they do win the league, say in the next 3 or 4 weeks, and they're still in the Champions League, then they might not really care about the Premier League anymore. So all I'm saying is, I think it might be time to just focus on the West Ham, the Liverpools that have something to play for, that have European places, or maybe even Fulham or Brighton, who've got survival to fight for. Anyway, I'm going to stop waffling now, and I think let's talk captains. So these are the captains we put together for this week. Four captain picks there: Kane, Bamford, Rafinha, and Fernandes. Who are you thinking, Jake?
For me, it's between Kane and Fernandes. Obviously, I think Fernandes scored a goal and got an assist against Brighton at the beginning of the season. And obviously, he's been pretty strong lately. Obviously, international break, you don't really know what's going to happen over the 2 weeks or so. I think a perfectly good option. Kane as well, obviously, is in great form lately. And Newcastle, I mean, they're just... No one really sees them as a strong side anymore. They're I'm not quite sure how they're still a grey fixture, 3 on the fixture difficulty rating on FPL. But I don't know, I think... Yeah, I'm not sure who to go with, but I think Bamford or Rafinha against Sheffield United. I mean, Sheffield United have actually been all right defensively recently. They've not conceded too many goals like they used to at the beginning of the season.
Are you sure? They just lost to Leicester 5-0.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Jake. I will be going with Kane versus Newcastle. Newcastle have got a very bad defence at the moment. They are low on confidence, and you just sense a Kane hat trick somewhere. With Fernandes versus Brighton, I'd say that, you know, I could see Brighton winning 1-0. I can see that happening. Although it's difficult, I can see that happening. And the reason I will say this is that Brighton are in good form at the minute. B, Manchester United, almost all the Manchester United players are out on international duty. And whilst Brighton players will be mostly, concentrating on this game, so they'll be analysing much more. They've got much more time, to get organised and to tackle this Manchester United team. So it's a bit of a... That's what happens with international breaks. That, this is, yeah. I mean, this is the thing about international breaks. They bring pros and cons, but yeah.
Yeah, it's. I'd say obviously the strongest two are Kane and Fernandes, but I'm actually the opposite to you guys. I would actually encourage captaining a Leeds player because I think Sheffield United are just so down right now. Chris Wilder's gone. I'd say if Chris Wilder's still there, I'd say they'd be playing better, but he's gone, and I just think that they're going to go down very, very soon. So I think Leeds will absolutely batter them, is what I think. And I think those are the two players that are going to get amongst the goals. But I don't think I'll captain. I think I'll probably go with you guys and go with Kane.
I mean, I've got all 4 of these players starting.
Same.
So.
Right then, I think 2 things left to do. So we've got to reveal our teams, and we've also got to reveal the perfect 11 that you guys have voted for. So first is my team. This is what my team is looking like. So again, lots of great fixtures. I've got quite a strong bench there with Gundogan and Salah. I intend to bench. I also intend to bench Diaz if I bring Rudiger in for Dunk, which I am leaning towards doing this week. If not, I'll do it next week. But so Martinez, foot target, double up in defence. Cresswell, Dallas, Mount Fernandez, Rafinha, Bamford, Watkins, and Kane captain. So I'm looking forward to this week. I think I've got a good team there. Right, who's next? Next is Ludo.
Yeah, so at the minute, I've got 5 at the back, all good players. expect them to keep a clean sheet. So quite a unique formation for this week. But having said that, should I use I've got 2 free transfers, so I've got to use at least one. And I am currently looking at upgrading Souček, perhaps bringing him in for another West Ham player. So perhaps Lingard. I'm not sure though. And Aubameyang, obviously I'm benching him this week, and it's hard to bench an 11 million, such an expensive player. But I'm remaining patient. I'm waiting for the good fixtures to come. So I'm quite happy with my team. Still lots to think about for ahead of the deadline, and I'll probably be making some live transfers on the deadline stream. So be there to see me and to see me complete last minute transfers. And yeah.
That is the deadline stream at next Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Don't be late. Yeah, interesting though that you want to hold on to Aubameyang. I'd personally ditch him for Bruno this week. But your team is your choice, so going to leave that out there. And then finally, Jake's team.
Yeah, so playing a 3-4-3. And like I said, I've got a lot of good fixtures, as you can see. Crystal Palace, Wolves, Sheffield United, West Brom, Newcastle, Fulham. So I'm going to be benching the City assets, I'm pretty sure, this week. So yeah, I've brought Leno in for Guaita. Obviously not for this week against Liverpool, like I said, but for the next few weeks. And I've got a couple of problems. Firstly, I'm not sure if I should bench Target, because obviously he's got a good fixture, he's got good assist potential, but I don't want to, obviously, Fulham score, I don't want to double up on Aston Villa defence. So I'll have to have a think about that one. I mean, I've got a week or so to decide. And secondly, I'm going to be bringing Rudiger in over the next couple of weeks, probably, well, as soon as possible, really. But so my problem is, who would I bring him in for? Because I'm going to want to keep Diaz for the next couple of weeks. Maybe Target. I'm not sure. Obviously, he's got the Liverpool and City. But then Digne, Everton don't really have great fixtures after, I think, 32. So I think I might bring Rudiger in then. But I could bring him in this week for West Brom. That would be ideal. But obviously, I don't know who for. So I've got some things to think about. But yeah, other than that, Kane captain, probably stick with Kane for this week.
Very nice. Yeah, I'll probably stick with benching Target for this week. Okay then. Last thing we have to do is we did the polls as usual on Twitter for you to vote for who you think will do the best this week. So we've compiled a team of 11 players here, and this is what the team is looking like. You guys have voted for it. Here it is. Where is it? Ooh. There we go. So that's the team for this week that you guys have voted for. Chelsea double up at the back. Martinez, of course, in goal. Jesse Lingard, Ilkay Gundogan, Fernandes, and Rafinha. Bamford, Calvert-Lewin, Harry Kane with the captaincy. What do you think of that, guys?
Yeah, it's a strong team.
Yeah, I agree. But there's nothing to discuss about. I mean, that is a good team right there.
Well done, guys, on Twitter. You got the seal of approval from Ludo. Good team. Solid.
Shrunk.
I know it's not my fault. It's his. He's done like a weird photo shoot with the Premier League. It's like he wanted to show off. He's like lost a bit of weight, you know. Been on a diet. It's like, oh, look at me, I've lost weight. Anyway, I think that's the end of the podcast for today. 100 subscribers, yay! So make sure you subscribe to the channel on YouTube, The Big Hitters, so we can make our way to the next milestone, which will be 200. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at Big Hitters FPL. Gameweek 30 deadline coming up on Saturday morning. Gameweek 30 deadline stream coming up Saturday morning at 10:30. So make sure you join us for that. Bless you. Our fantasy league code is 01TOQK. And who wants to reveal the standings?
So standings of should I do them all, Jake?
Sure. Yeah.
Quickly do top 5.
So I'll do top 5. So in 5th place we have got Finbar Murphy. So good. Obviously he played his free hit and increased in rank. Then we've got Jake in 4th place. And then actually we have got Johnny Brindle, who has declined. Still in 3rd place, still on the podium, clinging onto it. And in 2nd place we have got Ramadaki FC, another strong performance from him. But in 1st place we have got Farrak 0050. So congratulations to him. 1 point separating between and 2nd place, so very tight at the summit. It's all to play for, so make sure to join that.
See if you can beat us. I've dropped down to 8th. God knows where Ludo is. Okay, Ludo's 16th. Nice one. Okay, so I guess we'll see you next Saturday for a deadline stream. Hope you enjoyed this podcast, and see you soon. Bye-bye.